Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at news from our city, our state, our country. From you, we take a look at your questions, ideas, and suggestions on how to best enjoy our city, Puerto Vallarta, as a community of English speaking locals. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Of course, it is Monday, March 24th. Where did March go? I mean, just yesterday or the day before, it was the beginning of March, but here we are. Ah, I had a good weekend. I'm sure you can guess why. We had a very successful event on Saturday, and I'll tell you all about it in a little bit. But first, let us start with our news batch. As always, if you have any interesting comments to share, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. And if you would like a nice little friendly welcome because you're watching live for the first time, or just because you feel like getting a nice little welcome, just add the capital letter N to your comment and we'll give you a newbie welcome. So let's start with news. As always, what do you know? This Friday, the inauguration of Maria Montessori St, located next to Hoya Hospital, marked a significant step towards improving Puerto Vallarta's urban infrastructure. The project, which had an investment of over 6 million pesos, not only improves the connectivity of Francisco Medina Asensio Avenue with Avenida Mexico, but it also provides benefits to thousands of residents who travel on it on a daily basis. And best of it is, it only took a decade. Actually, I'm kidding. Well, I'm sort of kidding, but sort of not. I will never know, or I may never know why it took so long to pave that street, but I'm happy for people that live in Aramara because this should alleviate a lot of traffic and get rid of a lot of dust, I'm sure, because the road used to be just a dirt road. So I'm sure that in the dry months, it got dusty all over the place. So congratulations, Aramara. Your street is finally done. And Puerto Vallarta's public transportation system is set for a major boost. As 76 new buses are scheduled to arrive in April. The announcement was made by Jalisco Transportation Minister Diego Monraz during his visit to the city this past Friday. It is worth mentioning that presently we have about 200 city buses, 50 of which are fairly new, and with the arrival of this new batch, the total fleet will expand to 276, increasing coverage and efficiency across all routes. And to oversee the construction work being done on Terminal 2 at the Puerto Vallarta International Airport, we learned that Michelle Friedman, who is the Minister of Tourism of Jalisco, along with authorities from the Pacific Airport Group, toured the facility or the construction project, which is now at 40% complete. 40% complete. It is quite common down here for these reports to include percentage of completion, but somehow we never get to find out if the project is on schedule or not. So it's 40%. We don't know 40% of what. We don't know if it's still on schedule, but we do know that it is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. And moving right along, this Saturday, there was another successful cleanup on a beach. This time, this was carried out on Boca de Tomatlán. The activity was successful because nearly 2 tons of trash were collected thanks to the collaborative efforts of volunteers, local authorities, beach vendors, and nonprofit organizations. And speaking of nonprofits, Hook the Cure, the premier fundraising event supporting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, announces its milestone 20th anniversary celebration to be held November 6 to 9 here in Puerto Vallarta at the Villa Premier Hotel. Event co-chairs Bob Houston and Jeff Jennison will once again host this extraordinary 4-day experience, which has successfully raised over 10.85 million net for the foundation since the event's inception. That is a huge accomplishment. Of course, this is not happening until the fall, but it's nice to know that this ginormous milestone has been accomplished. Now, let us take a quick look at our weather forecast before we move on to other topics. We have, let's see, remove head from ass and enjoy the nice weather. I'm going to take that into advice because I need to go out and run some errands today. It is 23 degrees right now. Humidity is at 68%. And our weather forecast for today says we're going to have a humid day with mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, a high of 27 and a low of 13. Then tomorrow we can expect a humid day with mostly clear skies throughout the day, a high of 26 and a low of 13. And then Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with mostly clear skies in the afternoon, a high of 26 and a low of 14. Let's see what else we have right here. Yes, I was quite surprised in the most pleasant way when local paper Tribuna de la Bahía gave an unexpected shout out to the town of Cuyutlán in the state of Colima, some 5 hours south of Puerto Vallarta. We've been there, of course, because we have friends that own a hotel down there. Every year, hundreds of tourists visit Cuyutlán to witness the green wave, a phenomenon that occurs when waves reach great heights and as they break, they reflect an emerald hue. This national attraction intensifies during the storm season, offering an unparalleled visual spectacle. Now, getting to Cuyutlán is not the easiest thing. Well, it's actually very easy, but it is time consuming to get all the way down there. It takes about 5 hours to get to Cuyutlán, but it is still a fun getaway. We've had the pleasure of visiting our friends David and Scott, who own La Villa Cuyutlán. It's a small boutique hotel that is a fabulous, fabulous stay. And we did a show and tell video with them on everything that we discovered. And I will be so happy to share the video link in the show notes in case you want to rediscover Cuyutlán, if you want to check it out again. And if this is news to you, well, you will like learning more about this place, I am sure. And of course, this week, we continue with our spotlight interviews. We already have a few spotlights interviews lined up for the month of April, but we have one more taping this coming Wednesday. We're going to do an interview with Greg Moesser, who has opened a new cafe at the small Los Mercados shopping center, or shopping, Los Mercados in Emiliano Zapata. There's a new cafe called Trovasi Cafe. We're going to find out about that. And of course, our friend Derek Carkner is going to join us to talk about real estate services. And I'm very excited to have a conversation with both of them. And of course, oh my goodness, Saturday was so much fun. Saturday, while you were enjoying a taped interview with Sargento Dan, who was promoting his Mentiras Experience show, we were busy setting up for Hands-On Vallarta at the Joint Boutique Hotel. What a great time we had. And to tell you more about it, I have put this together for you to enjoy. Check it out. Okay, so Hello, it is Sunday early afternoon and I'm walking down the Malecón. It is a gorgeous day out. There are a lot of people out and about, and the reason I'm walking today is because I wanted to give you a little bit of an impression of what it was like to put together and execute Hands-On Vallarta, our volunteer fair, which took place yesterday at the Joint Boutique Hotel. And I figured while my thoughts are fresh, I would commit this to a short video. I first arrived at the hotel yesterday pretty early just to make sure that everything was in place, and don't you know it, the room was ready for everyone to take over as early as 10:15 in the morning. The staff at the joint had gone in and swept the floors and cleaned the tables, and everything was good to go. So at 11 o'clock in the morning, all the organizations started arriving. So it was great to see people show up early to get things done. And some of the things that really surprised me is, you know that you have connections with these organizations at one point or another, but in reality, it's not until you see all these organizers in the same room that I was able to remember how many people I know and what a blessing that is. So everybody started putting everything together. I was nervously pacing from one side of the room to the other. The truth is, it's difficult to gauge ahead of time just how many people are going to show up for an event. You pour your heart and soul, your time into promoting it as best as possible. But at the end of the day, when it is time to get started, there's always that question, who the hell is going to show up? And what if nobody shows up? But the good thing is that all the organizations that were there were very eager not only to be there, but also very eager to connect with one another. So even before the event started, I was happy to see all the organizations getting to know one another. And then, of course, there were a number of organizers that had never set foot in the hotel, at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, who, may I remind you, graciously donated all their space and resources free of charge for this event. So thank you, Joint. Anyhow, people kept arriving. There were a couple of early attendees that wanted to get into the room just before noon, which is when we were supposed to start, and we didn't let them. No, it was not because we were sticklers for the time in which it was supposed to start, but because we also realized that the time to set up is sacred time for the people that participated, and Angela and I wanted to respect that. Right before noon, right when we were getting ready to start, we gathered all the organizers, and this gave us the opportunity to acknowledge them for trusting in the event, to acknowledge the joint, to acknowledge the wonderful Angela who held my hand, Angela Kelleher, through this whole event. I could have never done it without Angela. Angela has a more direct connection with the organizations than I do, so the organizations know her and trust her. So I was very grateful and happy that Angela partnered with me on this event. And then, of course, the doors open at noon, and don't you know it, between noon and maybe 1:30, it was absolutely packed. People kept coming in, and it was so wonderful to see so many people that stopped to say hello to me, so many people showing up with their pets, and it was great because all kinds of connections were being made, during the event. Um, and then things started winding down towards the last hour of the event. There were still some people coming in and out, but the time was not wasted because it also allowed the organizations to once again keep connecting with one another, coming up with ideas on how to cooperate. A number of people, both organizers and also attendees, were grateful, and they quickly asked, when is the next one? Which of course Angela and I are already working on. But then there were all kinds of interesting ideas that kept coming to our ears on how to make the event better. So at the end of the event, my cup was full, and before the event was completely over, I took time to go to each one of the booths and thank each one of the participants for trusting Angela and me, for trusting our vision for the type of event we wanted to have. And it was just great. There are some takeaways that I want to share with you. First of all, if you were at the event, you were probably handed out, hold on just a second. I want to look at you while I'm talking about this. There you go. If you were at the event, you were probably handed out a feedback form. And if not, I'll make sure that the link to our form is available for you to fill out. We want your feedback. We want to get your sense as to what it was like for you to attend Hands-On Vallarta. And get your pointers, get your suggestions, get your comments. And this goes not only to people that attended, but also to people that participated. So that is takeaway number one. Takeaway number two is, yes, of course, there's going to be another one. We're going to start communicating with all the organizations and try to get specific feedback from them as to when would be a good time to do this again. Clearly, there are a lot of organizations with great volunteering opportunities, and clearly there are a number of English-speaking locals that want to connect with them, not to mention the connections that can be made with the Spanish-speaking local community as well. And something else that came up that I want to bring up immediately is when Angela and I were putting, let me sit down for this one. When Angela and I put this event together, I wanted to make sure that whatever promotional efforts we produced, from text to graphics to everything, was handled with tools that are either free or very inexpensive. And then it occurred to me that some of the organizations may want to get an insight as to how Hands-On Vallarta was put together. So I'm happy to announce that in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a special presentation at the Joint on how we put together the event, and a brief explanation of how to use free or almost free software to organize an event, and more importantly, how to use AI, and specifically how to use ChatGPT to generate everything from proposals to acceptance letters to rejection letters to exit interviews and the works. And this is an event that I'm happy to put together in the spirit of helping empower these organizations or anyone that is concerned with organizing an event here in Puerto Vallarta. So that is what is on my mind today. Once again, I am so grateful to Eric and the staff at the Joint Boutique Hotel, to Angela Kelleher, who's the best event organizing partner I could have hoped for, to all the people that trusted our vision, from organizers to volunteers, and certainly the general public that stopped by the event. And this is a good step, this is a good time rather, for me to stop. And that's it. Have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you soon. So that was that, and this is it. This is going to be a lot of fun, this presentation on free tools, smart strategies, and a little AI magic to put together an event. Of course, this is ideally targeted to the organizations that took place in the event, but it is also open to the general public. If you find yourself in a place or a position where you have to organize an event, or you have been intrigued about artificial intelligence and how it can help streamline your work as you organize events in the future, this presentation is for you. Again, it's going to be on Thursday, April 3rd at 5 o'clock at the Joint Boutique Hotel. I'm not going to put it on the Facebook event page yet because I want to first send it to the participating organizations so that they can have the first chance to get tickets for this if they would like. But of course, it is also open to the public, and we will make it available in a couple of days. And now let us take a quick look at your comments for this morning. Let's see what we have for today. La 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 la. Lots of good mornings. Lots of good mornings. Betsy says, thank you so much for your event on Saturday. I was able to connect with Angie from Sula, and we're planning the best way for me to sponsor a dog. That is awesome. More good mornings. Oh, Gary, it was so good to see you guys yesterday. I am a big fan of the Amapas Neighborhood Association, as you know, and it was just great. I just love the good vibe throughout the afternoon. Doug says, a very well done and informative volunteer fair on Saturday. Thank you, Paco. Thank you, Doug, for being there. I much appreciate it. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Somewhere I read the new airport terminal is scheduled for completion at the end of 2026. That is correct. We hope that they'll do so on schedule. Let's see. The hands-on event was absolutely amazing. Thank you, Angela, and the Joint Hotel staff for organizing it. It was great to see you, Linda. You bolted before I could hug you properly and chat with you and say hello, but I was so happy to see you at the event. Thank you very much. Brandy was also there. I am so glad that you enjoyed the event. Yay. And Liz says, well done, Paco and Angela. It was fun. It was fun. And then, of course, yesterday was a great day to just chill and process and enjoy the good feelings all around. And this, of course, brings us to the end of today's broadcast. As always, it is a pleasure to connect with you every morning, except for Sundays, which are used to connect with Luna. I will get on with my day, as I hope you will get on with yours, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you back here tomorrow morning for more coffee, headlines, and stories. Take care.